This week on the podcast, I am really, really actually nostalgic and emotional because I have my little bestie here who's 16 years younger than me. And the trending, I met my younger self for coffee today.
Yeah. I love that trend.
That got me emotional.
Yeah.
It got me so freaking emotional. And I'm going to starting next month with my clients because we do like 30 days and 90 days. I want them to write letters to themselves for like the end of the coaching, because it's very powerful. And I think this exercise, whoever first started it, it was definitely some very established psychologist or successful entrepreneur.
I wonder who it was. We should find it.
Imagine it's like a complete hot mess, which could be too. But I feel like when you think about your younger self, whether you're 40, 60, 20, even just 2 years ago, I'm proud of her. You, me, everybody. So this week, we're going to talk about
what we would tell our younger selves. So
if we had the opportunity.
Will not be doing 15 because 15 years ago I was 6, but I will be doing age 15 because I feel like that's a really good and confusing, hot mess, chaotic age.
I love it.
So I'm going to be doing what I would tell my 15-year-old self. What are you doing?
I'm doing 2 years ago, Jackie, and I'm going to talk to myself at 20, I think, like 22.
Okay.
Which I'm a weirdo because I was literally married with a kid at 22, but it was one of the hardest times of my life. And so when I think of her and think of me now, I'm so emotional. I might cry right now.
There might be some tears.
No, it's emotional.
Episode. Yeah. No, it is.
All right, you go first.
It's very nostalgic.
What would you tell my little 15-year-old Bean?
So I want to give a little like backstory
as
to who I was at 15. So at 15, I was a
Trinitarian
sophomore in
a cult.
I don't think they're gonna know what Trinitarian means. So
wait, do you see how I said cult? You didn't even catch it. I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding, everyone.
No, I would say it was a cult. But so I was 15 years old. I was a sophomore in high school. So that's what I was doing. And I was in school. I was going to church every week. And I would say 15 was when I started to like really come into like who my personality. I've always had a very strong personality, but I feel like around high school I really started to like gain some confidence, which I guess for a lot of people maybe it's the opposite, but I'm weird. And so 15, I was in a relationship for already 1 year, which is insane.
The same relationship she's in right now.
Same one.
Crazy.
And I didn't drive yet, so I was very like in my routine, like just waking up, going to school. I played sports, so I did that. I had like a group of friends, a friend group, and that was when I guess like I would go out like sometimes with friends and stuff, but I wasn't like, I was very in my school church like bubble. So I think that around that age, it's super hard because you're in that transition period from like child to adult where you kind of start thinking about like your future after school, but you also are still a kid, like literally still a kid. Right. So it's very, I think also what makes it a very complicated age is everyone matures at different levels and so differently. So your friends might be still super immature, not in a bad way, but just they are taking longer to grow up or do things, whereas some people wanted to be an adult as fast as possible. And I feel like that was kind of me. Like
you were like, bitch, let me just get out of this joint.
I was very independent, like from a very young age. Like I never needed help from anyone. I never wanted help. And I just liked to do things my way, myself. So I think that I was slowly starting to form into like the person I am now. And there was definitely things looking back that I think I had a lot of, I don't want to say rage because that's like a bit dramatic, but I think I had a lot of pent up like...
She's a closet angry person.
Yeah. I think I had a lot of pent up just confusion and like uncertainty about the future. I feel like that is how I would sum up that time period. And so for me, one of the things that I definitely would tell my 15-year-old self is that everything is just a phase. This will pass, and don't take things so seriously because everything happens the way it's supposed to. And I know that is such a cliche thing, like everything works out. But when you're so young and you're going through something in school, or you're going through like a parental relationship that you're unhappy with, or you're going through a bickering with your friend, when you're in that, it feels like the entire world is that situation that's happening to you. And it's really hard to like pull yourself out and gain perspective on what you're going through, to be like, it's okay. Like, you're going to get through this. This is just a phase. And I think for me, being so unhappy in my like school and church environment was a really big thing. And it honestly felt like never ending like torture, which sounds so bad. But like when you're in it every day, 6 days a week, like you feel like it's never going to end. And so for me, I would look back and tell myself like, it's going to come to an end. You're going to be free, which sounds, again, really dramatic, but I'm a dramatic girl.
We're dramatic girlies.
And everything that you're going through and feeling, there will be a close to that chapter and an opening to a new one. And then you'll deal with new challenges and new struggles. And like, just, I wish like everyone at that age knew that and genuinely could feel like everything I'm going through right now is not permanent. It's not forever. This feeling of dissatisfaction, or this feeling of like I'm not enough, or I'm not good enough at this, like those things will dissipate and turn you into an even stronger person. But like nothing is permanent.
My timeline of, you know, the years ago that it would be, so like 22 years old, I had just gotten married and I was a first-time mom. My firstborn son was vaccine injured from the MMR vaccine, and at that same time my husband was severely addicted to opiates. And when I tell you, it was like the lowest time of my life, and I was a child. I call a 15-year-old and a 22-year-old a child, but I wasn't a child. I had a child.
Yeah.
And I just remember being so lost and so confused. And I think the number one thing I would tell Jackie at 22 in that very pivotal time of my life was, you're not being punished. I think that a lot of our upbringing with church things, I always felt like when these things happened to me, it was like almost like a punishment from God, and that's not the God we serve. And in those moments, and even now as I'm obviously an adult now, pushing 40, I think sometimes we can get in the dangerous zone of thinking that we have free will and we could change. Like, obviously, if I'm not going to jump out the window, like I'm going to die. But I felt in that time that it was almost like I was being punished, not even necessarily by God, maybe by my upbringing or by whatever. And I was so, just like you at 15, I was confused. I was lost. I was heartbroken. And I think that I would just grab her and say, I'm going to cry. I would grab me and I would say, it's going to be okay. And like, it's going to turn out so much better than you could even.
Yeah, we always say this.
And that's where like I get emotional just thinking about 2 years ago and coming off of our network marketing episode, like sitting in your bed in Miami right now.
Yeah.
We couldn't have pictured this.
Yeah.
And
we always say this. I'm sure we've said it on so many episodes before. Like, we literally could not, if you told me right now, like, script the next 3 years of your life,
never.
I don't even want to. Like,
yeah,
I want things to just happen the way that they're supposed to, because I can't even come up. I know what's going to happen is better than what I could even try to create in my mind.
First thing I would say to me is, you're not being punished. You're being refined. You're being trained. Like at 22 years old, when your kids almost died from the doctor you trusted and everyone thinks you're effing crazy. And then I felt like I was losing my son and my husband at the same time. I would say you're being refined. You are literally, this is your business school. Like, I know that sounds crazy, but like every trial in my life, God has used it for me to help more people. And not that is like, oh yeah, let me look for danger. But if Yanni hadn't been injured by the MMR vaccine, there wouldn't be Real Raising Cubs. And so piggybacking off of what you're saying and not even like planning the next 3 years, it's like God is in control of all of this. And he genuinely, I can say in my old age, that he does work all things out. All. Not just the good things in your day, even the bad things.
Yeah.
And so, Jack, you're not being punished, and you are being refined right now for bigger things than you can ever imagine. And
that's really beautiful.
I'm not done crying. I have more to cry about.
Each point.
Guys, is it not emotional for you to think about how far you've come? And if you don't get emotional thinking about that, pull your car over right now and thank God for where you are right now, because you are living in answered prayers, and we forget that all the fucking time. All the time. Why? We move the goalpost.
Yeah. And I think us
hit the goal. What's the next one?
I think us being such emotionally in tune people,
Yeah.
I can so vividly remember how I felt in certain moments.
Yeah.
Like I can literally sit here and close my eyes and like feel it.
Yeah.
As crazy as that might sound.
No, I love it.
But like I think that's why it's so groundbreaking to us when we're in these moments where we look back and reflect, because it's like that moment feels like yesterday. Like I can so vividly explain how I felt in a certain time of my life.
Yeah.
And like it's so different now. And it's when you really sit and just bask in your thoughts and emotions, it's kind of not scary, but it's overwhelming.
I have chills. And it's not because of the fan.
Which Jackie's been cold all week at my house.
I don't know what's wrong with me.
The next thing that I want to say is do good at every little thing, no matter how hard it is. And even if you don't understand the purpose behind it, these things are what form you into the adult that you are going to be. And the reason why I wrote that down was because there's things I can think back to, even like just, I don't know, certain things that I was like forced. I don't want to say forced, but like certain things that you just have to do. And I feel like in the moment, sometimes it was really hard to be like, why am I doing this? Like, why do I have to, I don't know, write this paper or like do this thing that I like don't really understand the purpose of it. And I think that especially being such a hyper independent person,
So independent. Guys, she was like 3 and she's like, no, I'll do it.
Yeah. And so I think being that type of personality was really hard for me to do things that like what's the point of that? Why should I do that? And now looking back, which this actually makes me feel old, because I feel like I remember being a kid and adults telling me like you just have to do this because you have to do it even if you don't like to.
Right.
And I feel like I'm saying that now, so that's like really weird. But
Full circle
it is
moment.
really weird. But like that is something that I actually am grateful that I did do things that I maybe didn't think were necessary, because I think that those are the things that form you into the adult that you are. And it's easier to do those things then than try to force yourself as an adult to do certain things because you never had to do it as a kid. Even if you don't understand the purpose for something in that moment, you don't have to. And that allows you to also let go of control. And as an adult, that's a really big thing. Like there's things that I do literally every day that I'm like, is this really necessary? Or is this really something that's going to like benefit me? But I have to just do things even if I don't want to. And I know that it will work out in my favor in the end, as long as I'm putting my whole mind and soul into whatever this is.
Right.
And that can be applied in so many areas. Like it can be applied in your health. It can be applied, doing the workout that you don't want to do, or doing the sport or whatever that you don't want to do. Like I would literally throw fits over that. And I'm thankful for it now. And I might wake up and not like what I'm doing that day. And that's just life. Like that's
part of being an adult.
That's part of being an adult and part of creating a life that maybe one day you don't have to do those things anymore. But I just think it's important for a 15-year-old to hear that, because sometimes it can be, and honestly, when you're 15, it goes in one ear and out the other. Yeah. Like you hear that and you're like, yeah, whatever. Right. But now, like 6 years later, to look back and be like, oh, it makes sense now. Like I needed to follow through on things and complete them. Like it's better to complete a task than leave it unfinished and half-assed, honestly.
Yeah.
So
yeah, for sure.
That for me is one thing.
No, I love that.
I definitely.
And what if there's so many times it's going to happen to you again where you're like, oh my gosh, like I guess I am getting older, because like you'll remember, like you said, like your parents or an adult saying it to you, and then you're like, oh wait, they were actually that was right.
Yeah. And there's a lot of things that they weren't right about, by the way, but there are certain things that I get now.
Yeah. Neo. I'm aging myself. Okay. Yeah. So the second one that I have, I could go on for days, but we're kind of time sensitive because I have a laser appointment. But we're doing 3 or 2?
3. I have 3. Okay. Yeah.
Number 2 is trust your intuition. I know that probably is like a hot take for everyone now. Is it that women are like, trust that thing? Trust your intuition. It doesn't lie.
It's there for a reason.
It's from God. It's spot on. And when you're 22 years old and in this trial, or 23, however old you are, and you think back to the younger self, I know Jamie, our little creative director is telling us the time. You know, I doubted it, and I wish I didn't, because now at pushing 40, I like, when something's off, it is. And it's given to you to protect you and others around you. And I'm not saying that I'm a psychic or that I could have the wrong idea or feeling about a situation, because but I say I have like a 99.9% track record for my intuition, and just listen to it. And that's what I want to tell Jackie from.
It's there for a reason.
Yeah. It would have saved me and you and so many people around me a lot of heartache if you trusted it.
Yeah.
And listen to when you get that buzzing feeling like something's off here, whatever it is, your kid, your spouse, your whatever, a family member, trust it, because that bee is right.
And I think it's really scary sometimes, because I think we delude ourselves into
we gaslight ourselves.
Yes. There's no way I could actually
be
think
right.
that.
Yeah.
Right. There's no way that my brain is telling me this. Like, that can't be right.
Right.
So I think we do this like mental war in our minds of like
overthinking and all of that. Yeah. No, that's so true.
My last thing that I would tell myself, that honestly I am still, this is like the most constant, like I'm constantly telling myself this, and that is to question everything, even if it's scary. Even if it's scary to actually ask certain questions. And I think that this is something, like I just said, I'm still refining this, because even within the past like year or two, there's a lot of things that I felt uncomfortable to even question, because I was, like you just said and I just said, scared to even allow my mind to like get there.
Yeah.
And I think that because of the bubble and enclosed environment that I grew up in, to ask certain questions can be super, super scary, to the point where like you feel like you're doing something wrong even if you're asking a question. It's okay to have questions. We're human. It's natural, and there's nothing wrong about you if you do have questions about things, or you feel like the answers you're getting are not satisfactory. Like that is that is normal. And maybe some people are more go with the flow with certain things, and they just take things for face value, and that's the end of the story. But I was not like that. I'm still not like that. And I think as a kid, it's kind of like, just shut up and listen. That's what you're told. And then if you actually take that advice, you end up turning into a human adult. What other kind of adult? You end up turning into an adult that gets
alien
walked all over, right? That gets walked all over, and that just take things as they come, and you're not able to navigate or question or push back against boundaries about whatever it may be, relationships, beliefs, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So
no, I love that.
For me, it's a really challenging thing to be constantly reminding myself, because I mean, for perspective, like I only moved out a little over a year ago, and like I only really stopped enveloping myself in that bubble when I was almost about to be 18. So it's only been like 3 years of not versus 18 years of. So there's a lot of dewiring that has to happen there, but I think just constantly telling myself that, and I'm glad that I took that advice when I was that age, because I think things could have turned out differently as an adult. You just like give up. Like, you know what? Forget it. I'm not allowed to question things. I'm not allowed to be curious about certain things. And that's a really scary place to be. So for me, that's another thing that I would tell myself then and now and for the rest of my life. And that I will teach my kids. And it's like, don't take anything at face value. Ever. I would rather have people around me that are
questioning everything
and playing devil's advocate and like just pushing boundaries like that, rather than just taking things first glance. All right, end of story. Close the book. Right. You know?
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I would close that out. And just for anyone, I'll close my 15-year-old self before you address your 22-year-old self. But anyone at that age, or just dealing with the things that you deal with, like your body changing, your relationships changing, like maybe you start to like someone romantically, or your relationship with your parents, like during that time is huge. It's so confusing because you start to look at them as like not just your parent, but like you're like, okay, I want to have a relationship with you soon as an adult. And like there's just so many layers of change that happen over those years. And just surround yourself with people that actually care about you, have your best interest at heart, and take care of your mind, your body, do the hard things, question everything, and you'll turn out just fine. Because honestly, what I've learned over the past year is that even the most successful, rich, crazy, insane people are literally still winging it in life. Like no one has it all together. And that's one thing I've learned this past year, and it's just, it puts things into perspective, and you'll be just fine.
Yeah, it's all gonna work out. So I think the final thing I'll leave you guys with for me is I was a very big people pleaser at 22, and I was definitely a yes woman, yes man, yes woman, whatever. And like, for instance, like this tattoo sleeve, I didn't get it till I was like mid 30s, or early 30s, whatever. And there were so many things I did in my 20s that was because I was looking for the approval of others, and I wasn't really doing it for me. And so I look back to Jackie at 22 and I hold space for her, but also this is my life and I still struggle with this today on a daily basis. But I would tell Jackie, stop dimming your light because you're afraid of whoever is going to say, and get the sleeve and show up online the way you want to. And I'm not saying that you completely disregard all the people that you love around you's opinions and everything, but at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is your nucleus in your household, whether you're engaged, you're married, you're dating. Like, it's like those people inside of my home are who the opinions that matter most to me. And I can look back, thinking back to her, that I just, like moths to a flame, when you know who you are. Because my whole life, like, I always had this certain energy about me that, like, I was a leader in middle school and elementary school, and just like you, like, I was very independent, and I snuffed out my light all the time.
Yeah.
And would talk lower of myself around people that I could sense were insecure. And I think that a lot of people struggle with that, where because it's not that I have this all figured out. I am still winging it at 37, but there are certain core things about me that no one can shake. And I think that when you have that about you, it makes insecure people come out.
Yeah.
And so I think I would also just want, going back to the one I opened it with, is like, your life is going to be a culmination of the decisions you make, and don't be afraid to take risks. And also, Jack, you're literally going to live in the Florida Keys with Sean. He's not going to work at DeFalco's. You're going to have 4 beautiful kids. He's going to beat drug addiction. You're going to go through a lot of shit, and it turns out even better than you can imagine. I look to the future, unlike boomers that I know, that they're like, oh, my heyday. Like, bitch, my heyday hasn't even started. And so I think that we need to just know that. And I would tell myself that, and dream bigger, because God is literally is going to wow you. Literally. Like we said, we couldn't have like manufactured our lives right now. And sit with the gratitude and focus on the positives, even though, because bad shit's going to happen, Jackie, 21-year-old, 22-year-old. But look at it as lessons, and it literally turns out better than you could script. Show up, like you said, do your best. Every single thing is working for you, not against you, even the bad shit. And life is good.
Yeah. And I think to close off, since we are like the sisterish show for like women, if you're a girl in your teens or your 20s, and like you have that passion, that independence, that mentality, and what you just touched on, like you had this light that you constantly felt this like desire for more, and you felt like it was constantly being like snuffed
put out.
Don't allow people to do that to you, like because it's a lot harder to take 10 years to make that light come through than if you just make that boundary, set it in stone as soon as possible, and allow yourself to be heard. Like, you're loud, you're too cocky, you're this, you're that. Like, those are just words meant to shut us up and make us feel like we have no say, and that we just need to be like meek little mice in the corner, which some people are
doll
naturally
you can put
like
on a
that.
shelf. I'm not her.
Be loud, be disruptive.
To the 22-year-old out there, or the 15-year-old, or the 40-year-old, or the 60-year-old, you are allowed to not know what you're doing. Do it anyway. Have more fun. Laugh. Also, one big thing I want to tell you guys is no one's fucking paying attention to you.
Yeah.
Literally
no one cares.
No one cares. No one fucking cares.
Yeah.
I would pay it. Oh, look,
that's a good one. I that was a good one. Like,
thank you. I'm getting distracted because my 10-year-old's here, but like,
you think
no one is paying attention to if my nipple slipped out of my shirt when I go get my laser.
Yeah.
Like, no one cares.
Everyone is so focused, just like we are.
Yeah.
Everyone is so focused on what they're doing. Like, literally,
like,
no
we
one
don't
cares.
care. And it's not like we don't care about you. We just don't care. Like, we weren't paying attention. What? Say that again? No, I didn't. And the things that you make these huge deals, whatever it was, like when you were 15 with friends or parents or whatever, it's the same shit in your 30s. Like, no one's paying attention.
Yeah.
We all have so many things going on and our lives are so full. Thank God for that. No one's paying attention. And we make these mountains out of nothing. Take yourself less serious. Step out of line. Question fucking everything. And we're going to change the world. That's all. That's all I have.
From this bed, we're going to change the world.
From this bed in Coral Gables. No, guys, we love you so much. And honestly, this is a great exercise from like a personal coach, life coach standpoint. I write a letter to myself every year and I open it Christmas time to look at how God's worked in my life. And, you know, I feel like it's part of manifesting in a vision board is this letter, and I'll write goals I have and watch God work. Yeah. It's amazing. And get excited for the future. Like, life is so short, and stop thinking that like Jackie and Athena are paying attention to you. Trip. Like, no one cares. Do your thing, mess up, fail, and then you win.